This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We have got legitimate tension around here this morning. It is rare that our little radio show, biggest in the country, has sports going on in real time while we're on the air. And right now, the U.S. Open, Stugotz is going to be distracted all show because golf was a religious experience in his house when he was young, and now he loves it that way. But the other event that's going on, Stugotz doesn't love that way. He hates it, and his ignorance is flabbergasting. The World Cup is underway. You got bars filled with people already because this time of year is so much fun. Soccer, the world sport, even though the United States is not in it, this is a transfixing time where they're the big thing everywhere, including America, in sports over this period of time, playing this special thing that they only do once every 4 years. I want to ask you guys this question based on something that Stugotz said yesterday. Stugotz said the host country is always allowed. That's a rule. The host country always gets a team automatically in. And Stugotz was arguing on behalf of that for other sports. And Guillermo, I want you to put this on the poll. Would you be okay after the playoffs in the NFL are decided if America got to vote in another team? Just vote in one other team that you feel was wronged, that one other team. If we're going to do it that way in soccer, we're just going to give you a playoff berth because you're hosting it. You're running the stadiums for us.
But you're trusting America to take that seriously, to not make a mockery out of it.
I'm trusting America. Man, what could possibly go wrong when America as a democracy makes a joke out of something?
This is going to end up with Bodie McBoatface and winning a World Cup slot.
Yeah. But this was the shocking thing. So we've got these things going on. Stugotz is obsessed with golf. He gets very defensive when anyone criticizes it. Stugotz spends all his time criticizing football. Mike gets very defensive when he does that. But it escalated in the last segment, with something I believe to be a fascinating moral conundrum. Stugotz has declared that Lionel Messi, because he took HGH as a child, is not the best soccer player in the world, and furthermore, in his personal record book, Lionel Messi is still 5'1".
Yep, he's never played soccer.
Now, this is a fascinating conundrum because the number of kids in this country that need HGH to grow. But what Mike said about Messi is so. He wasn't doing it because his parents were real concerned about, he had maybe his genitals weren't growing at the right rate of speed because that's something that people use HGH for. Nah, he wanted to be better at soccer.
Yes.
His family got started with the cheating much earlier than usual. And birthed the best thing we've ever seen that should be 5'1" and wouldn't be the best thing we've ever seen if it were 5'1".
Well, I think he just wants to get to a size and a height where he has, the ability, has the chance to play professional soccer and become the best soccer player of all time.
But it's fascinating that Lionel Messi could use HGH at 13 and it's okay, but if Tom Brady uses it at 40, it's not.
Yeah, but it's legitimate. Like, you're going to a real doctor's office. You're not going to a strip mall down here in Miami. Like, these things are legit. It's monitored.
Wait a minute. Just because biogenesis was a scam because every DJ down here is a pharmacist, HGH is absolutely administered smartly by doctors to kids. You shouldn't use it on your own from a back alley, but doctors do administer it if you're having growth problems.
Barcelona paid for it. Hypothetically speaking, say there was a slugger for the San Francisco Giants and the San Francisco Giants were paying for it. And I know that there's some people out there, well, he was a teenager. That's not professional sports. Yes, it is.
It isn't soccer.
Barcelona's youth academy at 13 years old is professional soccer.
That's great. It's such a great moral conundrum we stumbled upon because it's so true. Lionel Messi needed help with his growth so he could be a great soccer player. That's okay. A teenager using human growth hormone. God forbid Tom Brady go looking for a fountain of youth. Poor Peyton Manning's winning a Super Bowl. He can't lift his arms. And we're going to yell at him through Al Jazeera.
Now, in all fairness, to arguably the greatest soccer player ever, he did this at 5'7". Okay, it's not like he's a skyscraper.
But he couldn't have done it at 5'1".
5'1" would seem to be really difficult.
It's not possible.
I mean, Mike, is there a soccer player who's, 5'2", 5'3", that has turned out to be a great...
Messi's your shining example.
Okay.
Messi is your shining example. Not in professional sports because there's, Altuve and Pedroia in that sport.
Isn't he the best small athlete of all time?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Hey, take small out of the equation. Messi might be considered the greatest athlete of all time. If you polled the world anyways right now, I think he'd run away with it.
But Stugotz says...
Not in my personal record book.
And now somebody says here, in my personal record book, and this is a low blow, Stugotz, but this happens sometimes when people are arguing about sports.
Mm-hmm.
In my personal record book, Stugotz does not have kids because he used IVF.
Ooh.
You made a commercial for it, and you threw that up.
Deep, man.
I mean, they're going.
Man, why did we go?
Dan.
Whoa! I didn't go there. I'm just.
You could have chosen not to.
You're going to catch that under the texter umbrella? Is that what we're doing here?
We do a lot of that. Wait a minute. Do you think I'm saying that in my personal record book you don't have kids? This is a text allegation. I do
think that, actually.
I love Rachel and Emma.
You didn't come to their bat mitzvah, I mean.
I sent a healthy check.
You certainly did. It was well worth not having you there.
So I shouldn't have read that? Should I apologize?
Nah, it's okay.
It's a low blow.
You don't love Rachel. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody does. Except Abby.
So Marc Stein is going to join us. Rugrat? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I love it to death. I'm joking.
So we have this fledgling effort going on right now where Guillermo is trying to get Lewis Brinson into the All-Star game. I don't know where this is right now. Our crusade, we're very bad at crusades. We make a lot of noise. We're more roar than reach. But now as part of this, Guillermo has enlisted a ringer. We told you that Stugotz was the king of cold calls back in his previous career when he was a salesman, and he would call people and he would, get through legal means. He would persuade them to invest with him.
Correct. Yeah. I was slinging munis, man. Municipal bonds, tax-free munis. And I'd go through the phone book. I was great. I missed doing it because I enjoyed just talking to random strangers. I enjoy the chase. You know how much I enjoy the chase. When I used to book guests on this show, I used to enjoy it. I treated them like accounts, and I would do anything to get them on, including using the name of Stan Van Gundy when he was guest co-hosting the show all the time with us. And so I used to just call people.
Whoa, that's recent? You would do that? I thought this was something you did before you got into you were doing that in your spare time as a hobby? You were calling people and saying, what about Stan Van Gundy?
No, I was saying that I love the chase, right? I love phone calls. I love cold calling. When I used to book guests, there was a chase involved with booking guests, and you have to do whatever you have to do, and I would use Stan's name often, okay? Even if it was a guest that wasn't for Stan Van Gundy. Stan know this. I talked about it with him, and he
That's how we got Popovich. That's how Popovich, he approved some of it.
I use his name all the time, even on legal documents. But again, Stan and I have had this conversation. Stan, SVG, my man, is totally cool with it. But yes, we're the only radio show in America to ever get Greg Popovich on, and that's because I use Stan's name. How about that? So when I cold call for, slinging munis, First Miami Securities, I would just call all the Murrays in Aventura and all the Murrays in Boca Raton. Murray!
That's how he'd start. He'd go extra chumming.
Murray!
Now, this is the part that we are setting up for. In the next segment, Stugotz has made some cold calls on behalf of Lewis Brinson. He is the ringer, the slinging munis ringer that Billy has hired to get this crusade off the ground. Stugotz we tracked down someone for Stugotz to sell on the idea that Lewis Brinson, Miami Marlin, is he hitting over 200 yet? He's had a big hot streak lately.
We're on our way there. Step by step, Dan. We're almost there.
All right. We want to get him in the All-Star game. You can vote 5 times a day, and Guillermo needs help, and he is bringing in the biggest gun we have. This is our closer. This is the guy who makes things happen around here, and the only one, frankly, because he knows how to sling muni. And so one of those calls, a cold call on behalf of Lewis Brinson from our ringer, is next.
This is your bedroom. This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills. No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness. 100% online at BlueChew.com, where your first order is free. Just pay $5 shipping. Use promo code DAN. at BlueChew.com and restart the party.
Don Le Batard.
I'm pulled over, and I'm there with the police officer, and the police officer's outside my window, and a guy drives by in the opposite lane here, okay?
Yeah.
Stugotz.
He yells, why are you laughing already? I haven't even gotten to the good part of the story.
Just the visual, and I know
No, it gets better. It gets better. The guy's driving by, and he goes, appreciate you, man. And he's hanging out of the car. And so I'm getting the ticket, and I'm waving at him. I'm like, thank you. And then he yells back at me, I was talking to the police officer.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We were howling with laughter, all of us, watching Amin El-Hassan being telestrated by Jalen Rose as he tried to win at the first obstacle in the American Ninja Warrior course. It's on our Twitter account. It's all over the internet. Amin El-Hassan is going to be content for the network all day today because he failed so spectacularly. We thank him for that. We thank him for being the trash talker that he is, and then failing that way, where Jalen Rose was breaking it down the way Kenny Smith would break down something at the half, circling the fear on Amin's face, circling all the things that he did wrong. And Guillermo, the reason I bring it up is if you're not familiar with Guillermo on the show, he is a very odd creature. I mean, he drinks juice boxes. He eats from things that are meant as baby food. But when he got on that obstacle course, he looked like Tarzan. The way that he swung from a rope, the one thing he did correctly looked like he was confident and that his neuroses weren't going to win. Guillermo is very talented, but bigger than his talent is his fear. Look at Guillermo nodding vigorously.
I wasn't sure if I should talk or not. That's okay. That's fair, I guess.
$2. So, Guillermo failed on the second of the obstacles, but looked just like a monster athlete. The way that he swung from the rope, he looked graceful and confident. Anyway, this public crusade that he's had for Lewis Brinson has been a source of great consternation for him because he's enjoyed the attention of it. He's enjoyed.
No, I could do without the attention.
But here's the thing. You've enjoyed that your idea. I've said this, Guillermo. I've said this before. You would love for your talent to be able to get out of a limousine, whatever that talent is, and walk down a red carpet. You yourself don't want to be walking down that red carpet.
Yeah, like if my talent could walk and I could stay in the limo and just go home and watch my talent on TV, that'd be fine.
That's right.
As long as my talent gets me the checks, I'm good.
That's where you are with this, and it's funny to see.
Are we really still talking about Billy's achievements? I mean, I beat him.
You did beat him.
That's not important.
You did beat him. So Guillermo finds himself in this tricky position where he wants his idea to get attention, but then he feels immediate remorse. Oh, Lewis Brinson, I feel bad for him. Are the Marlins going to be mad? Are the fans going to be mad at me? I did this thing. Was I mean?
Wow, you sound just like him.
It's weird. It's just, that's my only impersonation. A limited, fake, neurotic, scared Billy.
That is a Suey nominee. Yeah, put it in there. That's pretty good.
All right. Okay. So, but he's just soaked in fear all the time. And so he's brought in ringers on his crusade because clearly, buoyed by his fear, it's not doing anything. So he needs some help.
Well, the results came in, and they were less than spectacular, I'd say. Assuming that, they're legitimate, but that's another story for another day. I was kind of disappointed with how this went because I feel like we got off to such a strong start, and then the results came in, and we were not in the top 15. And I say we because I feel like if Lewis Brinson goes to the All-Star game, we go to the All-Star game. Yeah. Like, he represents us. Yes. So
in every way,
yeah.
Just star for no reason. Like star as a failure would be exactly. It's a perfect representation for our show. Bad. Just
he looks great though in a uniform. And look, as we learned on Ninja Warrior, you don't actually have to be great. You just have to look great, and people will love you. And that's what's going on right now.
Yep.
So we're trying to get him into the All-Star game, and we're not doing so hot. So I said, you know what we need? We need a celebrity endorser. And we need to start making some calls. So we got both today.
Well, what you need to do is start telling people where they can vote. Like, I think that's been a real flaw in your game plan. Like, it needs to be blinking on the TV screen. We need to remind people because people aren't going to go search this out. You got to tell people the only way to get him into the All-Star game is to get people who don't care about Major League Baseball, but do care about funny to get him in the All-Star game.
So go to MLB.com. You can click at the top of the screen. It'll take you to the ballot. Vote for Lewis Brinson. Look, here's the thing. I think that the votes that are just for Lewis Brinson and no one else are not being counted. So just vote whatever. Just random picks. Boom, 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 boom. Fill out the field and then, vote for Lewis Brinson. 5 times a day you can do it per email. If you want to make fake emails, that's on you. I'm not saying make fake emails and, be a fraud and, ruin the system. Don't do that.
This doesn't work out, though. Why would I give Lorenzo Cain a vote if Lorenzo Cain's ahead of Lewis Brinson right now? You can't vote for anybody else.
Pick bad guys.
It's a good point. Yes, vote for people worse than him.
Yeah, so look.
Well, there's no one worse than Brinson, is there?
Don't vote for... you could vote for Bryce Harper, but that'll take a spot away from Lewis Brinson. Maybe do write-ins. Like, maybe write an Ichiro.
All right, get your bleep together.
Go to MLB.com, vote for Lewis Brinson.
So get organized and stick with the plan and have some confidence.
Yes, have some confidence. So, who did you recruit now before you recruited Stugotz?
So Stugotz is more of a mentor here. Look, he was teaching us to make cold calls on his behalf, but we said, you know what? We have such a big name in studio last week. Let's get him to record an ad for Lewis Brinson. So our good friend Chael Sonnen recorded a spot endorsing Lewis Brinson.
What's up, guys? Get out there and vote for Lewis Brinson for the All-Star game. Let's get him in there. And don't bring in stats and statistics and these other things. We want to see guys play. I mean, look, there's a reality in baseball. If you're dealing with a job where you're not even tough enough to do it if it rains, I don't think we need to expect a whole lot. And I'll tell you something else. If my MMA career ever diminishes or I get too old, suffer an injury, I'll probably join Major League Baseball.
That is not an endorsement, and he didn't pronounce the guy's name correctly, and it's just basic. This campaign's not working. We've got to bring in the ultimate ringer.
I checked the ballot, by the way. There's no one worse than Brinson.
How in the bleep? Yeah. Hold on a second. I lied to the audience. We're going to play the Stugotz cold call in the next segment. But you explain this to me. How, in the name of all that is wholly insane, have you made Chael Sonnen not good at speaking in front of cameras?
Here's the thing. I had to go to the bathroom, and he was taking a long time. So I went down to the bathroom when he was doing it. So I wasn't in the room. And there was actually a script, but he didn't get the script. So I was downstairs, and he didn't read the script, and he kind of just did whatever he wanted. And then I was leaving the bathroom, and he was going into the bathroom. I'm like, I'm not going to bother him now.
I can clarify. Billy was terrified to talk to Chael Sonnen, so he had Allison do the work for him.
You are the wrong person.
You are management material. Management material, Guillermo.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, we need another crusader. We really do.
Here's the thing. I wasn't directly connected to it because I didn't actually ask Chael Sonnen to do it. So I'm just always staying one person away from what's going on.
All right. Very good. In the bathroom.
Don Le Batard.
America is addicted to its technology, and it's really unhealthy.
I keep having this discussion with my wife because she is on that phone nonstop. And what I have asked for our family to do moving forward is let's figure out a time where all of us put our phones away and none of us use them till the next morning.
Stugotz.
Yeah, but nobody wants to be with you.
That just dawned on me. Thanks, Dan.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline.
Who's this preening guy? Who's this preening guy leading our World Cup coverage? This guy is feeling himself in his velvet suit.
Oh, that is the long-anticipated return of Robbie Williams. Sex icon in the UK, not really popular here in the States. Is that a fine? I was helping.
Yeah, it's a fine.
God.
I was helping.
Here's your SportsCenter update.
He feels sexy. Like he knows
What's
he's
his
sexy.
name?
Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams. And he had one of the best episodes of MTV Cribs. This guy is so charming and fun.
Confident, too. You could see it just by him walking around.
Too confident.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, he is a Brit pop
That
star.
suit is tight. Tailored and tight.
So cool. You ever see the music video for Rock DJ? Awesome. All right, I'll pay $2.
Yeah, that's 4 now.
Because he's at a skating rink, and then he starts
Now
taking
it's
off his
6.
clothes.
Yeah.
And then you think, okay, that's the video. No, then he starts tearing off his skin, and then he starts tearing off muscles and whatnot. It's a wild video. You guys remember Millennium, too? What a song. It sounded like a James Bond song. Is it $10 now?
So he's just a skeleton at the end?
Yes, man. It's so great. You need to watch a music video for Rock DJ.
15.
Just $2. Don't listen to Stugotz. It's $2. You get everything under the $2 fine umbrella for being a music snob.
Really?
You guys should check him out, though. You should really get more credit here.
Here's your SportsCenter update. Triple G and Canelo Alvarez have worked out an agreement for their rematch, now scheduled for September 15th. I feel like those guys are always fighting, and they're the only two fighting. That's it.
They're always fighting, but never fighting.
Correct. Yeah.
Put it on the poll. Guillermo, put all of that on the poll. Are they always fighting and never fighting?
Police found more than $98,000 and 52 grams of cocaine in the townhome where former Kentucky football player Marcus Walker was arrested in May. And finally, Haim, the popular rock band comprised of three sisters, just fired their agent after finding out men got paid 10 times more for the same gig.
What's happening here? A guy with fire on his shirt is playing a harp?
That's an electric harp.
What?
I've never seen
World Cup electricity, baby.
I'm watching golf.
Billy said, why was he on the stage for just 2 seconds? And then Billy corrected himself, saying,
The world is Robbie Williams' stage. Apparently.
There is a giant bird made out of fire and feathers on the field.
It's a dragon. That's
World
a pun.
Cup.
That's not a dragon. That's a
it's
bird.
Phoenix.
That's a fine, man.
That's a bird. A bird that looks like a dragon. Who's that woman?
That I don't know.
There's a woman on the back of a dragon bird. World Cup, baby.
It might be a Russian singer of some sort. The only Russian singer I remember. You guys remember Tattoo?
Yeah,
the twin.
All the things
she said, all the things she said, running through my head.
Wasn't Karolenko married to a Russian pop star?
Yes.
AK-47. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Robbie Williams is confident, man. He is drinking in that crowd. Like letting it flow over his nipples. Like he just keeps throwing out his hands. I know I'm beautiful. I know I can sing. I know this velvet suit is super tight and tailored. I know you've been waiting for my return. You're welcome, World Cup people.
God, man, look how he look. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, you guys are late to this Robbie Williams party. No. This guy's been a sex icon.
He is oozing sexuality right now at an age where it's not easy to do because he's got a lot of silver fox going on.
Yeah, how are those eyes for real?
Can't be real. Right? I can't stop staring
Are
at
those
him.
contacts?
And the butt looks good in those pants.
Do you remember when Stallone wore blue contacts in Judge Dredd? That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yep. Remember it well.
So, keeping with that, we've got a handful of things to get to, a number of them. We want to start a looks good in a uniform Hall of Fame.
Ron Gant.
We want to marvel at Oliver Luck and how much the XFL is paying him. We want to get to this Forbes list. We want to get to Stugotz getting a lot of allies now on his Durant take. He was first to the party, and now there are a lot of followers. And we got to get to the fact that Canelo Alvarez's people have been reaching out to me in this strange web of fame where you just hear from people close to people because they want a story out there, but they don't want to be the person who gets the story out there. And that's how I get texts from Alex Rodriguez's guy, Pipo, who I've never heard of, never talked to, don't know why he's texting me. It's very important. Pipo needs to talk to me about something Alex Rodriguez related because now it's with J-Lo. The whole thing is weird, man. They live in this cocoon of weirdness where Canelo Alvarez has people reaching out to me because he's got some story he wants to tell. And I'm like, I don't know anything about Canelo Alvarez. Why do I want to talk to Canelo Alvarez about what? Not fighting?
That's some first world problems right there, man.
No, but Guillermo knows. Why is people calling me? People, déjame tranquilo. I don't want to hear from you. If A-Rod needs me, have A-Rod call me. People, you leave me alone. Yeah? Basta. So, what, Mike?
You guys remember when Britney Spears had the snake on in that music video and what roiled within you? That's what's happening to me right now during this Robbie Williams performance.
$2 again.
I feel like a continent just got pregnant. Just when this guy started singing.
He's only 44 years old, which is pretty shocking. But if you're familiar with Robbie Williams, dude's lived.
Cam Newton, Uniform Hall of Fame.
Woo!
Oh, wow, that's great. But he might be in the actual Hall of Fame, too, right? Right.
Oh, wait a minute. How does this work?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because we just started discussing it. Like, Ron Gant's not a Hall of Famer, but guy who looks good in a uniform, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I think that's an important distinction. I think it's important for you to make the distinction.
Okay.
You can't be somebody who's worthy of the Hall of Fame. You just have to look good enough in a uniform that we all think that you're a Hall of Famer.
I think that's the way to do it, guys. It's a guy who's not a Hall of Famer, but looks good in a uniform. That's the way to do it.
Can I go with Jay Crowder and Marquette? Amazing.
That's true, right? Jay Crowder at Marquette. That's a good one.
looked almost as good as Robbie Williams in this leather print suit. Oh, my God.
What is that material? Because I called it velvet. It's not velvet.
No, I think it might be vinyl.
What are those tattoos behind his ears?
He
what
has,
are those?
2 tattoos of shades
On top of each other.
I don't know what this means.
Ruben Sierra.
Oh, that's a good one. Ruben Sierra. Ruben Sierra. Mike, do you have any? Ruben Sierra put out an album because he was so sexy in a uniform. Ruben Sierra, if you don't know what we're talking about, played in the World Series, bounced around the big leagues, Rangers, Yankees. I don't know how many teams he played for, but looked good in a uniform on all of them. Aquí está Ruben Sierra. Ay, qué rico. Oh, Brazilian Ronaldo has not aged as well as Robbie Williams. I love that I have to make it Brazilian Ronaldo. I mean, he looks like me. Ronaldo has done nothing but eat success since he stopped playing.
Whatever the opposite is of our uniform Hall of Fame, Tim Duncan.
Wait a minute, what?
Just the opposite. A Hall of Fame player who looks like he in his uniform shouldn't be.
Yeah, very baggy.
David Boston.
That's a great one. If you do not remember David Boston, he had biceps on top of his bicep. David Boston might be a first ballot, looks good in a uniform Hall of Famer.
He lifted his way out of the NFL.
Yes, he was lifting too many weights. He became too strong.
Julio Franco.
Really?
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Julio Franco.
Oh, yeah.
He's cut out of that Gantt cloth in which the sleeves were just way tighter on him.
Yeah.
All right, forgive me. I lied to you again. We're going to get to that Murray phone call. We are. We're going to get to it. We are not going to beat a dead horse the way we always do around here. But if you don't know what we're talking about, Stugotz, he was slinging munis at one time in his career. He loved calling guys named Murray and trying to trick them. He's got so many buttons open on his shirt, Mike.
Oh, my God, he's dancing now.
He is so feeling it.
Man.
He has got a fist on his hip.
This is like if Morrissey ate
Why
meat.
is he on the sideline? He has a stick.
Get in the middle,
I'm
Robbie.
lost in those
Get
eyes.
pulsate pelvically in the middle, impregnate the other continents.
Oh, you didn't know? Your act's better. Go, somebody.
David Justice.
Ooh, that's an interesting one
Man,
because
these are
that's
all Braves.
lean. That's lean, right? It's weird. Stugotz take an entire Braves team. A 90s Braves team is Stugotz's. What kind of phase were you going through in your life?
Rafael Nadal.
He's a Hall of Famer, though.
I think I'm going
I keep
through that.
forgetting about this little...
Yeah, okay, $2, get out of here.
I think I'm going through whatever Braves phase Stugotz had right now with Robbie Williams.
Spirited gifts. Father's Day is getting closer and closer. If you want to get your father a better gift than you usually get him every year,
Murray!
then I suggest you use Spirited Gifts.
Murray!
Spirited Gifts are based in Miami.
Murray!
Tell them more, Stugotz.
Murray! Father's Day is this Sunday. Murray! Get your shopping done. Murray! By visiting spiritedgifts.com. Murray! Nope, Dad doesn't want a tie. Murray! He doesn't want a power tool.
He just buttoned his jacket and nobody wants him to button his jacket. They don't want him to button it. They want him to open up the pants. Open up the pants, Robbie! Unbutton the pants!
Yeah! Oh, he's just singing to me.
Here's what Dad wants. He wants tequila.
He just gave the middle finger!
What? Get
He's
out
a
of
bad
here!
boy!
No way. Eric Davis. Dan Ugla.
That wasn't his finger!
Oh!
Nicholson's +5. Murray! So is Spieth. Murray!
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him,
"Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash?"
His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So, it was all good.
Dan Lebatard.
Yanni Adebabumbo.
Stugotz.
Giannis Adebabumbo.
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
The best days are the days when everything is moving too fast. So, Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. What's worse on television, a nipple or a middle finger? Because Robbie Williams just did something on the largest stage in sports, and we'd be clucking if this was America. This was something that Americans cared about because we can be pretty repressed about this stuff.
We did cluck. Remember what happened to MIA during the Super Bowl, during Madonna's halftime performance?
So Robbie Williams is probably in trouble and good. My guess is he embraces it. He will impregnate it. Mike, give me 30 seconds on Oliver Luck, please, because I don't have time to get to everything I want to get to. So just give me 30 seconds on Oliver Luck.
So the XFL is coming back, not next year, but the year after, right? And kids that grew up in that era we loved it. We loved it. It only lasted 1 year. So it's coming back. Vince McMahon is seizing on the opportunity. There's a wide lane here, and he thinks he can challenge the NFL. So he hired Oliver Luck, Andrew Luck's dad. He hired Oliver Luck's dad.
Happy Father's Day. I think Andrew should wish his
Father's Day. Happy June. He hired Oliver Luck, who is part of the College Football Playoff Committee, right? He does a lot of stuff with college football and whatnot. Prestigious name and lots of respect attached to it. He hired Oliver Luck to be the commissioner of the XFL, which is a good hire. What's shocking is the pay to get Oliver Luck to do this. $20 million guaranteed to Oliver Luck to run a league that lasted 1 year the last time it was around.
They're serious. They're serious. $20 million to Oliver Luck is, we believe, we're going to fill the gap with gambling coming on people needing some football.
But the name Oliver Luck just sounds like money.
It does. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Does the name Oliver Luck sound like money?
I read an article that this league has already cost Vince McMahon hundreds of millions of dollars, not just to start it, but he took his stock out before the stock blew up before the Fox and USA deals were announced.
Give me 15 seconds on the Forbes list of athletes.
The Forbes list of athletes is everybody who you would think would be there, but atop of it is Floyd Mayweather, and that's not the shocking part. He's more than twice as much as Leo Messi. LeBron James has to work so hard for his $80 million. LeBron James, I believe, is 8th on this list. He has to work so much harder than Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd for fighting a guy who's not a boxer.
Floyd got $275 million from that Conor McGregor fight. It was a sideshow.
Sideshow, fight of the century.
Give me, Mike, Stugotz mentioned Julio Franco looks good in a uniform. Give us our most famous Julio Franco story told by a caller. Mo, you're on 790.
I don't know if you know that Julio Franco used to play in Mexico City before he was called up by the Braves.
See?
And so I'm from Mexico City, and I was producing the post-game show of the Mexico City Tigers. He was crushing the league at the time. He had like 5 home runs. That day, he was batting 580 something. So I sent this Latino girl to do the interview after the game because he had a huge game. And she got into the dressing room, and she came out, the Latino skin is kind of light brown, and she came out of the dressing room whiter than Hubie Brown. So I said, what's wrong? And she said, no, please, you need to make this interview. I can concentrate. So I went in with the microphone and everything, and Julio Franco was the interviews naked. Man, it was the biggest monster that I've ever seen, okay? So I concentrate, and I said, hey, Julio, ¿te molesta si te vistes, compadre? Y me dice, well, that's the way I roll. If you want the interview, you have to watch me. And I said, okay, I'll watch you. And man, since that day, I don't feel sure about myself.
Dan Lebatard.
Dwayne wants a fight.
All right.
Dwayne.
Well, then let's fight, man.
Dwayne,
Let's go fight.
No.
Do it.
Kill me. I'm here.
If Dwayne wants it,
kill me now.
We want it.
Do it. I'm here.
Let's go.
Kill me.
They ain't scared.
Do it.
Stugotz.
I'm right here. Kill me.
Listen, man.
Will you shut up, Stugotz? Mike,
I'm doing a thing. Stu, I'm doing a thing.
We were to play
that.
Predator. This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Marc Stein is exceptional. He knows a lot about basketball, and he knows nothing about anything else. So we have him on to talk basketball and then to quiz his pop culture. He is an exceptional basketball reporter working for the New York Times. But before we get to that, I've got a handful of other things that I need to get to. First of all, Marty Smith. He has 8 p.m. tonight. Marty Smith's America. He's a friend of ours. He's doing very good work for the network. Please support the things that Marty Smith is doing because they're good and they're fun and they're interesting.
And don't get confused because on certain guides it shows up as SportsCenter Special at 8 o'clock on ESPN on the mothership. That is Marty Smith's America if you press info. So go ahead and DVR that.
Before we get to how bad Marc Stein is at pop culture, though, Stugotz, you're very excited. You're distracted. You're not very good today because you're watching the U.S. Open. So give us 30 seconds on the U.S. Open, please, the things that you have done instead of working.
The course is so hard. It's playing so difficult. It's a difficult course to begin with, but with U.S. Open conditions, I mean, it's just, listen, when these guys who are on the PGA Tour are struggling this early in the round and Matt Kuchar is 3 under, and you have guys like Phil Mickelson and Jordan Spieth who have won, I don't know, probably a combined 12 majors that are +4 on the front 9. I mean, this course is ridiculous, and it's only going to get harder in the afternoon, and that's when Tiger Woods tees off.
Mike, do me a favor. Please call Amin to see if we can get him in the next 2 hours to defend himself over what is now just being slander all over all networks. Everybody's making fun of Amin El-Hassan. A texter writes in, when it comes to telling the audience what is coming up next segment, Dan is approaching Stugotz's levels of lying.
You don't get the show.
Let's do this with Marc Stein this way, Stugotz. You ask a basketball question, I'll ask a pop culture question. So where do you want to begin the bidding with Marc Stein of the New York Times? Marc, we appreciate you joining us, even though we make fun of you a lot like we do here when we're asking you pop culture questions and you're terrible. What is Migos?
I'm guessing breakfast is not the right answer.
So that's where we are with this. That sets up the game. Go ahead, Stugotz.
Mark, if you're Kevin Durant and the GM says the things that he said during their parade about, Steph Curry was here from the beginning, if you're Kevin Durant, how do you think Kevin Durant absorbed that, I guess, what was made out to be a joke from the Warriors GM?
I'm going to say he'll probably never forget it, but he will probably just, I think at the parade, when the alcohol is flowing, it's all bets are off and nothing is taken too seriously. I don't think that's going to leave a huge mark.
Who is publicly beefing with Pusha T?
Oh man, I should know this. This is on Twitter.
Silence is bad for radio.
Kanye West is the wrong answer, but I'm not that far off.
Okay, you're in the area.
What team would you most want to be if you were pursuing LeBron James? Which team has the best chance, Mark?
The Lakers, because they've got the ability to create the extra salary slot to give LeBron someone else he can bring with him. They are they have. It doesn't mean they're gonna get him, and I think it's still too soon to really know what's going through LeBron's mind. But I would say if I had to say, if they're the best chance right now.
Fill in the blank. Courtney, Kim, Khloe, Kylie, blank.
Kardashian.
Well, yes, but there's another one. Yes, you're correct, but you don't. We need the first name. We gave you nothing but first names. Courtney, Kim, Khloe, Kylie, and
one more time.
Really? Courtney, Kim, Khloe, Kylie, blank. You think one more time's going to help you?
He was so proud of himself.
Chris, the mom, are you looking for the mom, Chris? Is that right?
I mean, he got the mom.
Oh, for the love of God. For the love of God.
What's happening here with Paul George, Mark? You had the report. Paul George is leaning towards staying in Oklahoma City. What's going on there?
The report is that the Thunder have a better chance to keep him than we all thought when they lost in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, they've made a great impression on him. There are a lot of people around the league who seem to think that the Thunder, their odds of keeping him are rising. I'm not saying he's definitely staying, but there are definitely people around the league who think Oklahoma City's chances have improved and are better than we all perceived when they crashed out to the Utah Jazz.
What movie is the line, Luke, I am your father, from?
Star Wars.
Oh, yes. I thought we were going to get him. He was confident on that one.
Well, next season...
So did the 70s, and I have a chance.
Will next season be Kyrie Irving's final season as a Boston Celtic?
I'm kind of leaning yes. Not just because Kyrie has a wandering eye, but the Celtics have that... Danny Ainge has that ruthless streak. If he senses any wavering on Kyrie's part, he'll do something. So... I think I'm on yes.
What popular book series features the characters Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger?
Oh, no clue. Let's not even waste time with the silence.
Okay, but you know what Harry Potter is, right? Or no?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Those are Potter characters?
No, that's fine. It doesn't. It would. The question would suggest such. Yes.
Will Kawhi Leonard be a Spur next season?
No.
What?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What? I got to stop everything I'm doing. And what? What? Expound, please.
I'm in the camp that says they're not going to be able to glue it back together, and that his exit via trade, if not imminent soon, is it's somewhere in the near future. I think that they will trade him somewhere in the near future.
In 2000,
that's a prediction.
Okay, we understand. It's not reported from Marc Stein of the New York Times. In 2011, this actor claimed to be a warlock and stated that he was winning after getting fired from his hit TV show.
Charlie Sheen.
Oh, look at that. Marc Stein pays attention to the cocaine-fueled scandals.
Who is Nick Nurse?
Nick Nurse is the new coach of the Toronto Raptors.
Give us
all you know about him.
A Netflix show. Yes, it's all we all know about it. It's a terrible question by you, too. I don't know what you're doing. Like, you're supposed to ask the basketball questions. I'm making the jokes this segment.
I just wanted to know. Like, I want a little bit more.
Do you not understand the show? No,
that's a big job, and it's a one series.
But why? You asked it like it was a trivia question in Trivial Pursuit. Who is the coach of the Raptors? As if Marc Stein wouldn't know that.
Well, I thought he would expand and say he's the coach of the
question
Raptors.
better.
Tell us more about Nick Nurse.
My confidence is so shaken, I'm taking the wins wherever I can get them. So that's all.
Name a Netflix show.
Please tell me Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians with Cars is on Netflix.
No, it's just on the internet.
It just went to Netflix, but it's not a Netflix produced
Wait a
show.
minute. Do you know how to use Netflix? Do you have a Netflix passcode?
We have Netflix because I have kids, but I do not use it. They know how to use it. I don't.
Marc Stein of the New York Times with us.
Do you think Kawhi and LeBron James will be on the same team next season?
There's a chance. I mean, I can't sit here and pretend that I know that now, but is there a chance? Is Kawhi Leonard on the list of guys that LeBron is presumably going to be checking with in this 3-week period he has to try to plot his next move? I believe so.
Name an American Idol winner. Silence is
Sparks.
Did you get it?
He got a random one.
Wow.
Did Jordan Sparks won? I think Jordan Sparks won.
Can you name another? Can you name another? Where was that? Why was that embedded anywhere in your?
How do you remember Jordan?
Why
Sparks?
is that in your library? What just happened there?
I think she did a national anthem in an NBA game once, and
she won the sixth season.
Winner, Jordan Sparks.
All right.
Will next season be Kevin Durant? Do you think next season is Kevin Durant's last season as a Golden State Warrior?
No, I don't. I think he will stay.
What was Vanilla Ice's hit song?
Ice, Ice, Baby.
That's his wheelhouse right there.
And from the area where I live in now, he's got Dallas roots. That one's a layup. Come on, you got to hit me with something harder than that.
All right, we will.
All right, Mark, tell us where LeBron's going. Come on, man.
Yep,
We gotta know.
There we go.
Where's
There we go.
LeBron
There
going?
it is.
We got all the answers. All right, we're having you on to tell us.
Tell us.
Hey.
Tell us.
Was there a question in all that yelling?
Yeah,
Ask it again. Ask it
Where's it
again.
going?
Hold on. Let's so that he understands it more clearly. It's the only question that matters. Please be more clear because we don't want any confusion. He's the New York Times. He's a credible reporter. Please be clearer on the question you're asking him.
We're not.
Oh, where's LeBron going? Was that the question?
Ask it again, guys. He doesn't seem to be understanding.
Miami.
What?
305! Whoa!
This is your bedroom. This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills. No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness. 100% online at BlueChew.com, where your first order is free. Just pay $5 shipping. Use promo code DAN at BlueChew.com and restart the party.
Dan Le Batard.
Stugotz is a liar.
What happened?
Stugotz.
Well, we know this about you. It's not what happened. It's a statement of fact. You're someone who lies so much that you can be correctly identified as a liar. Yes, I don't. Did you even dispute that?
No, I don't.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
It has been interesting over the years to watch the journalistic shift at ESPN where the anchors, the voices, they're allowed to show their sports allegiances. It's not about objectivity. Michael Wilbon right now is writing a column for The Undefeated. Michael Wilbon is an exceptional sports writer, one of the best we've ever had, a Hall of Famer as a sports writer. But as with many of the sports writers, ESPN has bought them and turned them into something else. So he doesn't write that often. But when he does write, he is writing for The Undefeated, and what he is saying is, LeBron, please, Washington. That's what he's saying. This is a column that is begging. It is a recruitment pitch that he has written to get LeBron in Washington.
What are the reasons? I mean,
well, I'm going to tell you because nobody's saying Washington. Right. Nobody.
Which leads me to believe they have to be deeper than basketball, right?
Well, but here's the thing. This is what everyone's doing with LeBron. Please choose us. We'll give you more meaningful things. We know that what you're bringing to us is more valuable than what we can give you. But here's the valuable thing we can give you. Will you please swipe right for us on Tinder? That's what's happening. Wilbon's doing it. Listen to this.
Okay.
There's a place nobody's asking about that's calling LeBron James's name, Washington, D.C. Washington, not Los Angeles, is the most powerful city in the world. Washington, not Houston, is where every significant issue relating to sports, from steroids to chronic, he's using CTE, to gambling, to paying college athletes.
Couldn't help yourself.
Has been and will be addressed on Capitol Hill. Washington, not Philly, is where you apply to the National Park Service to convene a rally to call national attention to gun control, women's rights, or Black Lives Matter. It's the most desperate recruiting pitch I've ever heard, and it's brilliant. It's all Washington has. Here, we've got CTE for you. We study CTE here. LeBron, come to Washington.
Guys just trying to catch Jordan.
But no, he's right about the idea that the way to appeal to LeBron, man, would anyone be surprised if LeBron's next move, answer this question for me.
Okay.
If LeBron's next move in this Game of Thrones bleep that he's created with his television show, you saw what Golden State had to build to beat him. You saw what Kevin Durant had to do to beat him. Would it surprise you at all if LeBron's next move is team ownership? Never mind with this stuff where you think I'm coaching the team. Nope. I own it and I play for it. Like, is that because he doesn't do this the way that other people do when it comes to power.
Right. I think it's either that or his next move is to go play in college. He said the other day, it is his dream. It would be the pinnacle of his career to play basketball with his son. And so he has eligibility left.
You had a take lined up, and you didn't listen at all to what I said. You're watching the U.S. Open. You didn't want to follow at all what I was asking
Bill plus 4.
He's absolutely right. Let me tell you how this works. So LeBron, this is his last contract, by the way, in the NBA, just so everybody knows. Not his next contract. This is his last contract in the NBA. L.A., wherever it is, last contract. Then what he does, because he loves his son so much, he wants to play for his son. His son's only 14. We don't know if he's going to be in the NBA or not yet. So he has 4 years to figure out if his son's going to be in the NBA. Then he has all this college eligibility left. He's not going to win any more championships, maybe one more championship. So what he does is he goes back to college, 3 straight national championships, pats his stats, legacy, winner forever.
You are better being Stugotz than he is, and you just showed me the future of this show when Stugotz inevitably leaves us to be on Golik's show.
What?
You're going to just play the character of Stugotz because you're better at it than he is. Can you do Poppy? because I got a problem on my hand.
This is actually an amazing take, and I'd never considered it.
What do you mean?
Can he go back to college? And if
No,
he does,
I don't think you can.
he
Once
get
he's
drafted
It's
again?
happening.
No, wait a minute. You can't.
What do you mean?
He
How do
can
you
enter
know?
the NBA draft again?
I think once you start taking money from professional basketball, you lose your amateurism.
No. Aren't there like all these guys that were like doctors or something like that? Look at Brandon Whedon. He played
When you
quarterback.
start taking money from the professional version, I don't know which one's more ridiculous. Put it on the poll.
Brandon
Guillermo.
Whedon was 36 years old playing for Oklahoma State after he got a contract from the Yankees.
Which one? But from your sport. I don't think you can
Wait,
take...
the bylaws say specifically your sport?
I think you can play in another sport. I think football allows Chris Wenke to make money in baseball and then allows him to play football.
But if you're Coach Calipari and you only have one choice, right? You have like one scholarship left, and you can give it to a 42-year-old LeBron James
I'd love to see
or
it.
a
I'd love to see it.
17-year-old athlete at high school.
You guys are basically claiming that every
take LeBron.
Wait a second. So LeBron can play college football? Yes. Sweet.
Yes. Alabama.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Which one's more ridiculous? Stugotz, you got to get out of the U.S. Open. Come on, man.
Dan, it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, I can't.
Do the show. Do what you're paid for.
I'm stuck in the rough.
Dan Le Batard.
I mean, my kids don't even like me anymore. That's the bad part. I mean, the one thing I had was my kids, was my twin girls, and they are mortified by me, by my mere existence.
Stugotz.
I mean, I went in that lake at camp over the weekend, took the shirt off, stuck the stomach out as far as I could, and cannonballed right into that lake. My girls asked me to leave afterwards.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We will, I am promising you, get to this Murray cold call that Stugotz did. We have to shake the scent off of Stugotz. He's struggling today because he's distracted. He's doing too much. He's on Golic and Wingo. He wants to be on every show. He's writing columns. He's on his computer watching the U.S. Open, not working.
Yeah, I've been talking since 8 a.m., man. I'm starting to get tired, a little exhausted. I'm sorry, man. I'll try to pull it together. I will.
All his dreams have come true. He's tired. So the first thing we want to play for you, though, before we get to that, is Klay Thompson being maximum Klay Thompson at the Warriors parade.
My future, just to maximize my potential and enjoy every day. That's it. Those two things. It's very general, but that's what you got to. That's how I think. And if I do those two things, I can look back on my career and say I had a successful one.
That's the Klay Thompson way.
You know, that's all it is. I'm tired, Gareth. I want to go eat a sandwich.
Enjoy.
All right, we'll do it.
Thank you, Klay.
I mean, that is Stugotz's entire sentiment. I'm tired, Dan. I want to go eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
NBC Sports Bay Area, that's where that sound is from. Let's check in with champion Jordan Bell being maximum champion Jordan Bell.
And you came prepared. Are we still expecting more champagne baths going on here?
See, now I don't know what champagne is. I'm going,
Congratulations, Jordan.
Play that again right there. That is Jordan Bell, champion, because the Warriors will make anyone a champion.
And you came prepared. Are we still expecting more champagne baths going on here?
See, now I don't know what champagne is. I'm going,
Congratulations, Jordan.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. Would the Warriors have won in a sweep if Jordan Bell had spent the entire series drinking Henny?
Going on here.
See, now I don't know what champagne is. I'm going,
Congratulations, Jordan.
That is also the exclusive sound of J.R. Smith forgetting the score in Game 1. So we've got Charlie. Old Money Charlie is a television producer for our show. He put together that American Ninja Warrior thing that shamed Amin El-Hassan. This is Charlie being maximum Charlie, exhorting the crowd to cheer him, asking for noise, and then the sounds you're about to hear are him trying to run atop an obstacle that hits him in the junk. You will hear that sound, and then throws him into the water. The original sound is Charlie, Old Money Charlie, trying to scamper athletically through the cheers across an obstacle, and the first sound you hear is his junk landing on that obstacle very painfully, and then he slowly falls into the water.
Splash.
And now, the aforementioned cold call. Guillermo, you want to set this up? You want to set up what this is and why we're doing it and why your failed crusade needs this ringer.
So we started a campaign about a week ago as a show to get Lewis Brinson voted into the All-Star game. To do so, you can go to MLB.com. You can click on the All-Star game tab at the top, and it'll take you right where you can go to vote. However, we have not been that successful so far because he's not in the top 15, which we're looking into. And as, you know, an added effort, I'd say, to get him some more votes, we got a celebrity endorser, Chael Sonnen. We played that sound earlier. And we had Stugotz tell us that he could get people to vote because he used to do this. He could convince people to go. So again, go to MLB.com to vote. And this is Stugotz going and reaching out into the community to try to get Lewis Brinson some more votes.
Hello.
Murray!
That's the name.
How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm good.
You're talking to Stu. Did you get some golf in today, Murray?
Golf?
Yeah, you play golf today, or?
No, I don't play golf.
No? No golf. You don't play golf at all?
No, I stopped some years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had issues with my, I had arthritic, problem in my hands and whatever it is, I'm going to be 81 years old, so.
Yeah, that's tough. So what'd you do today? Anything exciting today?
Yeah, I got my hair cut.
Nice.
My dog got his hair cut.
Nice.
Picked him up. How about your day? Tell me about your day.
My day's been great. Where are you, in Philadelphia, Murray?
No.
Where?
Philadelphia. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, I love Charleston, South Carolina. It's one of my favorite cities, South Carolina. It's fantastic. I love Charleston.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Now, you said that Steve.
It's Stu, actually. Yeah, it's Stu. It's Stu, yeah.
Stu?
Yeah.
Which Stu?
Stu. I mean, my name is Stu Wiener.
All right, so now where do we go from there with this conversation?
Well, I need some help, Murray. I really need some help here. So we have this big campaign going on. I work for ESPN, okay? And we have this big campaign going on, and we're trying to get this guy down to Miami, the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, but whatever it is that you're calling me about, that's certainly not my specialty. So how about if I'm polite and I just tell you goodbye?
Well, hold on. No. Well, hold on. What is your specialty, Murray?
My specialty is to not, get hustled. So,
Murray, I swear to you on everything that I have, okay? I'm a nice Jewish boy. I am not here to hustle you. I'm just asking. I just need help with one thing. It's simple. And if you don't want to do it, just hear me out. If you don't want to do it, then we don't do it, okay?
Well, I don't have a lot of time, but why don't you just get to the point?
You're right. So, MLB.com. You like baseball?
I follow it enough. Get to your point.
Okay, MLB.com. I just need you to go there, and if you wouldn't mind, vote for Lewis Brinson of the Florida Marlins to make it to the NL All-Star team. That's all I need.
Okay,
that's it. It's free, and that's all you have to do.
I understand. Okay.
I'm not asking for money. I'm not selling anything.
I haven't done that for the Phillies, so I'm not going to do it for the guy from the Marlins. Let me say goodbye, Stu. Thank you.
Murray! It's a numbers game.
That is a random dude named Murray that we found, wherever it is that you find Murrays these days. He was exactly the age I imagined him to be, and he sounded exactly as I imagined he would.
Murray!
We don't know that person. That is not a paid actor. We have found Stugotz's sales kryptonite.
Murray!
It is clearly the landline holding, landline slamming
Murray!
Stugotz was undefeated, never lost.
Now, that's the guy I want. I want that exact guy, and if I speak to that guy 150 times, which is the amount of cold calls you're supposed to make in an hour, I will land 10 to 25 votes for Lewis Brinson. I promise you. And if I spoke to that Murray every single day, eventually I would get him.
I think you should call him again. I think we should call him again. Hey, it's Stu. We talked yesterday. Keep calling him.
Okay, done.
Keep calling him. Yes. I really need you to do this.
Right.
Good God, that is not a paid actor. That was a grumpy old man who was 81 years old, randomly chosen because we had trouble finding Murrays. They're not making Murrays anymore, and they're not making Moes.
No, there are Murrays out there. They're all in Aventura and Boca Raton. Murray!
Washing my nose, oh yeah.
I'm a shower curtain, and I do one thing. Keep water from leaking everywhere. So you see why I feel useless compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could Geico save you money, but they've been around for over 75 years. And they give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or on the Geico app. And they've got a 97% customer satisfaction rating. They do all this while I have to listen to this chucklehead. Oh, good, he stopped.
Washing my toes.
Oh, great, an encore.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Dan Batard, Stugotz,
and also
this is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So a tweeter writes in, Murray is going to be the demise of this show. My favorite radio show of all time has become unlistenable.
Murray!
Can you guys tell me, because I was wandering around while you were calling random Murrays, there are doors between the studios here, and sometimes I hear things and I'm not hearing them correctly. Did I hear you call a home looking for a Murray and then someone told you that Murray was dead? Is that a thing that happened? Because it's how I heard it from the other room. Did I hear it wrong, or is that something that happened?
I think you heard it wrong, probably. Yeah, but listen, when you call Murray's in Aventura and Boca, chances are you're going to have that exchange where you call someone and they say, hey, Murray no longer lives. Like, not just doesn't live here, he's not alive anymore. It happens, you know?
That absolutely happened. I called yesterday and I said, is Murray there? And she said, Murray's dead. And she was very old, and she then started yelling at me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm really sorry. And she was like, don't be sorry. I wasn't related to him. I just have this number. It's been haunting me. So that's how that went. And I was like, well, I'm not sorry.
All right. So Murray died and then you got the phone number. Okay. Mike, is that worth replaying again? I'm not checking the polls. Tell me how the people want or don't want more Murray in their lives, because Stugotz is an expert salesman. Over the years, he's gotten everything. He gets on and he's charming and he can sell anything. But Murray wasn't having any of that. He is just old in a way that is FU.
Let's consider the product that I'm selling, though. I am asking old men to go on a website and vote for Lewis Brinson for the All-Star game.
But I think that's easier than asking him for money.
Well, no, because I'm giving them, when I was asking for money, I was giving them 5 and 6% on their money, when if they kept it, in their bank, they were getting 1.5%.
Guillermo, put it on
the
sale
there. I mean,
put it on the poll. What is more difficult for old people? Giving you their money in a sales call, or getting on the internet and voting for an All-Star?
Last time I checked, there was a really nice percentage of our audience that wanted to hear the Murray call again.
All right, well, here it is then with the backstory. Guillermo has recruited a ringer because his crusade has failed so far. He is more roar than reach. He's scared of everything. He's weird. He hasn't accomplished anything. He was afraid to talk to Chael Sonnen, so Chael Sonnen did an ad for Guillermo that was terrible, that didn't even pronounce the name of Lewis Brinson correctly. Guillermo ran away from him scared. Off into a corner to fear other things.
To literally poop.
Okay, to literally poop himself. And so we brought in a ringer, the best sales guy we've got around here. Stugotz has told us for weeks now that he could charm old men named Murray into giving him anything they want. This Murray wasn't having it.
Hello?
Murray!
That's the name.
How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm good.
You're talking to Stu. Did you get some golf in today, Mur?
Golf?
Yeah, you play golf today, or?
No, I don't play golf.
No golf. You don't play golf at all?
No, I stopped some years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had issues with my, I had arthritic, problem in my hands and whatever it is, I'm going to be 81 years old, so.
Yeah, that's tough. So what'd you do today? Anything exciting today?
Yeah, I got my hair cut.
Nice.
My dog got his hair cut.
Nice.
Picked him up. How about your day? Tell me about your day.
My day's been great. Where are you, in Philadelphia, Murray?
No.
Where?
Philadelphia. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, I love Charleston, South Carolina. It's one of my favorite cities, South Carolina. It's fantastic. I love Charleston.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Now, you said it's Steve.
It's Stu, actually. Yeah, it's Stu. It's Stu, yeah.
Stu?
Yeah.
Which Stu?
Stu. I mean, my name is Stu Wiener.
All right, so now where do we go from there with this conversation?
Well, I need some help, Murray. I really need some help here. So we have this big campaign going on. I work for ESPN, okay? And we have this big campaign going on, and we're trying to get this guy down to Miami, the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, but whatever it is that you're calling me about, that's certainly not my specialty. So how about if I'm polite and I just tell you goodbye?
Well, hold on. No. Well, hold on. What is your specialty, Murray?
My specialty is to not get hustled. So.
Murray, I swear to you on everything that I have, okay? I'm a nice Jewish boy. I am not here to hustle you. I'm just asking. I just need help with one thing. It's simple. And if you don't want to do it, just hear me out. If you don't want to do it, then we don't do it, okay?
I don't have a lot of time, but why don't you just get to the point?
You're right. You're right. So, MLB.com. You like baseball?
I follow it enough. Get to your point.
Okay, MLB.com. I just need you to go there, and if you wouldn't mind, vote for Lewis Brinson of the Florida Marlins to make it to the NL All-Star team. That's all I need. That's it. It's free, and that's all you have to do.
I understand. I haven't.
I'm not asking for money. I'm not selling anything.
I haven't done that for the Phillies, so I'm not going to do it for the guy from the Marlins. Let me say goodbye, Stu. Thank you.
Murray!
All right, Guillermo, this is how bad your crusade is, okay?
A tough selling.
We're calling people individually, asking them for a single vote, and they're hanging up on us.
Well, the problem is we also might be calling the wrong demographic that might not be necessarily tech savvy.
Well, find a Murray in that demographic.
Right. It's a great point Dan brought up earlier. I would have an easier time getting that Murray or any Murray to hand me $500,000 than I would to have them log on to their computer.
Are you, Guillermo, fully aware of how incredibly inefficient and incompetent your crusade is?
I think we're picking up steam, man. I'm telling you right now.
We're just targeting Murray.
I mean, I don't know who's doing your market research, but it feels like a failed business plan. I feel like we need to hire Oliver Luck for $20 million to get this thing corrected because it's not working this way. We're trying to get a vote from a single old guy, and we're failing.
So some notes here. I have a Phillies fan and a dog. So when I call him back again today, and I'm going to call him every day until he votes for Brinson, when I call him back today, I have to go in with Murray having a tough day, dog's a little bit under the weather, right? I got to tug at the heartstrings.
A tweeter writes in, this Murray bleep, and people are getting mad, on Batard seriously needs to stop.
Murray!
The dead horse.
Murray!
Killed himself.
Murray!
Because of how.
Murray!
Incredibly annoying.
Murray!
The bit.
Murray!
Don Batard.
Do you refer to the yellow sauce at a hibachi restaurant as yum yum sauce? 57% of the audience said no.
Stugotz.
Do you go ginger, 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 yum, 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 or yum, 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 yum? 38% of the audience said yum, 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 yum. So they get 3 yum, yum sauces. They ditch the ginger, get 2 yum, yums with an additional yum, yum. Second place was ginger, yum, yum. Fat Chris said earlier no one goes ginger, ginger. 18% of the audience goes ginger, ginger. And 18% of the audience also goes yum, 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 yum. How about that?
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
There is a ton of interesting noise around the Patriots. The Patriots discard anyone a year before that person has lost value. But the Patriots have 2 playing stars and only 2. And everyone who's escaped the asylum is saying from other teams it's no fun playing there. And the 2 stars they have seem to be at odds with management. And no matter how persecuted you are as a Patriots fan, and you can be persecuted and also have a persecution complex, I believe both of those things are true about the Patriots. They have been wronged in certain instances, but the stuff that's around them now, to me, feels more serious than any of the other nonsense that we've reported about them, because the 2 guys who say we're not disposable seem to have a problem with management. And now Mike Florio is reporting, because there's been a lot of talk that Gronkowski is on the trading block. And that talk reaches soap opera levels. So Florio says it is indeed hogwash that the Patriots had a trade for tight end Rob Gronkowski on the table, that they were ready to proceed, that quarterback Tom Brady threatened to retire, and that owner Robert Kraft vetoed the deal. That's hogwash. But what Florio says is that doesn't mean the Patriots didn't explore the possibility of doing a deal. Per a league source, the Patriots were calling other teams about a possible Gronk trade as recently as 3 days before the draft. Coincidentally or not, Gronkowski ended nearly 3 months of uncertainty regarding his future by declaring publicly that he would play in 2018 only 2 days before the draft. It's not known what the Patriots wanted or whether a deal was actually close. If it was, it never got to the point where Brady made a power play and Kraft had to make a boss move. But if the seeds of that are true, Stugotz, it would make sense that the Patriots would be tired of this doctor who's not a doctor. They can't rid themselves of Brady. There's no way to do that, especially after Brady seems to have gotten Garoppolo traded.
Right.
But this Gronk thing, given his body, given how many surgeries he's had, given how much he must hurt, given that he is a fountain of youth for Tom Brady because of the margin of error that he allows, because he's a polar bear. You can't cover that.
He just makes things easier for Brady.
But how Patriots a move would that be? Belichick trading Gronk before Gronk's value, his value has to be pretty strong. We all know you can make an argument that there has never been a more productive tight end in the history of that sport.
Right.
And that second place isn't even particularly close. That Tony Gonzalez, in terms of productivity, has not been the touchdown maker that Gronk is.
I do question the interest or just how much value he has in the league at this point because he's been injured so much, Dan, and he keeps talking about retirement. I do wonder.
Stugotz, but who wouldn't want that?
No, every team would want it, but you don't know how long you're getting it for.
I understood, but you never know in that sport how long you're getting anything for.
True.
When you've got, Darren Sproles, he survives, and then one play, his elbow and his ligament blow out. His knee ligament and his elbow blow out on the same play. Like, you're not guaranteed anything. I understand what you're saying about Gronk being brittle, but when he's on the field, he's enormously productive almost always.
That was great. I mean, he's great. It's amazing how quickly this happened to the Patriots, where it seems like Is
it quickly?
Well, it seems like the locker room has turned on Bill Belichick.
But is it quickly? Like, it
feels pretty quick, right?
I just think 15 years of tyranny is going to get tired of anybody.
15 years of winning, though.
I know.
At the highest level.
I know, but Stugotz, everyone who leaves there is telling you, man, that was no fun. You got Lane Johnson teasing them as he's a right tackle who's made himself famous, who just keeps saying, man, I'll take my one ring and having fun versus everything that they have in New England.
Listen, he'd take the 4. I don't care what he says. It's easy for Lane Johnson to say that now. He'd take 4 rings.
Not every former Patriot is saying that. I can think of one that's not.
It is interesting what's happening around that team, though. Because who qualifies as the third star the Patriots have? Did they bench him for the Super Bowl? He's not even there anymore, is he?
Yeah, he's gone.
But I mean, who is the third name on the Patriots that plays, not Belichick, not Kraft, that plays that you're like, that team, more than any in the sport, makes anyone disposable. In a disposable league, that team makes everyone disposable. Belichick tells you at every turn, I will beat you with tiny white receivers. I can beat you with whoever I put out there.
I guess it would be Edelman, right? I mean, that's crazy.
And he's in the middle of a steroid suspension.
Yeah. Didn't play last year.
Is it Edelman? Yeah, you're probably right. Who's fourth? They are that disposable. That team that represents winning doesn't do it the way Golden State does. That team doesn't do it with the same players. It does it with the same 2 players recently. But Wes Welker only won 1 title there. Wait a minute. Did Wes Welker even win a title there?
I don't think he did. Remember Giselle was all upset afterwards because he dropped the ball? Yeah.
Wes Welker played with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and didn't win a Super Bowl.
That's right. That is
several years.
I know it is a riddle. It is one of sports' great riddle. Wes Welker played with both Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and managed to win nothing except an oversized helmet that perpetually had him concussed.
I'm looking at their receivers this year. Edelman's out 4 games. They have Philip Dorsett. They have Chris Hogan. They have Jordan Matthews. I mean, they have these guys. And Kenny Britt.
Oh,
and Kenny Britt could have a major season, yes.
Waterlogged corpse that is Kenny Britt.
He was so bad last year. Kenny Britt. Ask the Rams.
Ask me. You may not remember his stint with Cleveland. They paid him more money than Terrell Pryor.
Wasn't he decent in Tennessee? Kenny Britt?
Yeah, no, he actually was decent the year before he signed that deal. He was decent for the Rams in Tennessee. He's had a really good career, a long career, a career that's clearly at its end.
Is Kenny Britt in our Hall of Fame of guys who fill out a uniform?
He did.
Oh,
man.
yeah, it's a great one.
He did, but that sport's not fair.
But, Mike, he's like, because Edelman's out 4 games, so Kenny Britt elevates in terms of wide receiver. Like, you're saying it's the end of his career. I'm saying maybe it's the start of his career.
Well, it certainly will be if he gets with that doctor who's not a doctor. Well, watch how fast Kenny Britt gets healed and becomes Randy Moss.
My God, if I'm Julian Edelman, I try to appeal this so fast because Braxton Berrios, small white wide receiver from the University of Miami, is just there waiting to take your spot.
For a 4-game steroid suspension. Mike Ryan called that the moment Braxton Berrios stepped on the field for the University of Miami. Everyone did. Everyone said that's a future Patriot. Look how precise his route running is.
Yeah, it wasn't his route running.
Listen to me. Wes Welker had 1 touchdown with the Miami Dolphins when he played for them. And everyone thought that the Patriots were crazy because they got more for Welker than they got for Garoppolo. They traded for Wes Welker, and everybody was like, what are they doing? Wes Welker has scored 1 touchdown in his career with the Dolphins. And furthermore, Mike Ryan, get that sound of Wes Welker telling us when he got laughed at by a neighbor. Because the Miami Dolphins have been a laughingstock for 15 years, and so they play a middle linebacker in Zach Thomas, who was very good, but will be standing outside a club, and someone will hand him their keys because they think he's the valet.
Welker fetched a 2nd-round pick, which is what Garoppolo did. On top of that, a 7th-round pick.
Right. And so, but get me the sound of Wes Welker telling us the embarrassing story of when a neighbor simply didn't believe that someone his size or his pigmentation was a football player who played wide receiver in the league.
His final season with the Dolphins, he had 67 catches, 687 yards, and that 1 touchdown, then went to New England. Hold on. Let's do this again.
No. This is fun. No, this is fun. Let's slow this down for a second. And
Kenny Britt's going to have a big season.
Hold on. Let's slow this down. Give the Welker stats before going to New England, what New England saw, and after going to New England.
Okay, so the year before he goes to New England, again, this is his final year with the Dolphins, 2006.
Can you do the 2 years before that? Because I don't.
Sure, I'll do the 2 years.
All right,
yep.
do the 3 years of Wes Welker before the Patriots decided to trade for him.
Okay, so, he did nothing his first year. Literally did nothing. 2005, he had 29 catches, 434 yards, no touchdowns. 2006, he had 67 catches, 687 yards, and a touchdown. Belichick saw something.
That's his Dolphin career right there.
Yep.
1,000 total yards, 1 touchdown.
Yep. His first season with the Patriots, 112 catches, 1,175 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
Keep going.
Oh, you want more?
Yes, keep going.
Okay, his next season with the Patriots, 111 catches, 1,165, only 3 touchdowns, but a big bounce-back year. 123 catches, 1,400 yards, 4 touchdowns, got injured the next season, still had a decent season. The following year, though, 122 catches, nearly 1,600 yards.
They doubled his output.
And 9 touchdowns.
They doubled all of his output, and this is a wide receiver, in his own words, who nobody believes was a football player.
I just moved into a house, and one of my neighbors said, "You play for the Dolphins?" I was like, "Yeah." He told me, "No wonder we won 12 last year."
More money, more problems.
This is your bedroom. This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills. No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness. 100% online at BlueChew.com, where your first order is free. Just pay $5 shipping. Use promo code DAN at BlueChew.com and restart the party.
Dan Le Batard.
You are the best, and when I say the best, I mean the very worst and most evil.
Stugotz.
The worst.
But this time, it's for real.
Worst.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Later in the show here, in 15 minutes, we've got Haley Joel Osment. If you do not know that name, I imagine many of you don't. It's the kid from Sixth Sense. He is now 30 years old. 30 years old. That'll make you feel old. Sixth Sense, the kid who saw dead people. I see dead people. Wow. He is now 30. And speaking of aging, the President of the United States is 72 today. happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck. Time now for our stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the
I hate being a Mets fan. Dan, Jacob deGrom has a .87 ERA, 6 earned runs in 62 and a third innings. In his last 10 starts, the Mets are just 2-8 in those 10 games.
That sounds fake. That sounds like it can't be right.
deGrom has 7 starts this season where his team lost despite him allowing 1 or 0 runs. According to Elias Sports, that's tied for the most such starts in a season since 1893.
Of course it is. Mike, are we trying to reach Ameem El Hassan? Ameem? We're calling him Ameem.
He's unavailable.
He's hiding?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he's Is he in hiding because he talks so much trash? And well, we've got to get the first exclusive interview. I mean, this has created a storm. Everyone at ESPN is using Ameem El Hassan to make fun of the idea that any of us are athletes, that any of us critics in the sports media. He did the American Ninja Warrior course very poorly, more poorly than anyone else. And that's hard to say, given that Charlie Hume, old money Charlie, ended in a position where his future money will not be able to be taken by kids because he will not be able to have kids.
Charlie doesn't strike me as the type of person that's leaving money to his kids.
Right. Gets it all to himself now.
He's being buried with that money.
Mike, help me out here. You know, journalistically, we're always sort of a bumper car running against sparks, running into the walls and with sparks. So help me understand, with ESPN's credibility and the weight of ESPN's reporting, and ESPN is very careful about not reporting things that they have not they themselves confirmed. What can I do with this story as everyone circles around LeBron James and we're asking Earl Boykins his opinion, and Earl Boykins is saying LeBron's going to Denver and Gary Payton is saying that LeBron is going to Los Angeles? What can I do with this story about the real Lambo on Instagram? He is the ex-boyfriend of LeBron's mother. And I don't know what to do with this story because it seems to suggest that the real Lambo has been kicked out of this family and he's ready to talk in a book about the real inner workings of that family. And I don't know about him as a credible source. I've spoken to him one time. It was a very difficult conversation. It was sketchy. It was weird. He was not interested because of everything that circles around LeBron. He's his own economy, Stugotz, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he didn't want to say anything publicly that might damage his working his way into that family. He was much younger than LeBron's mother. He was dating LeBron's mother for a long time. And now what can I do with what he's doing on Instagram?
You can do just about what you've done right now. I wouldn't offer up any of those salacious details that he's been offering up because Lord knows ESPN as a journalistic entity hasn't been able to verify any of this and put it all on him don't even put what he's putting on.
All right, give me, that's fine, but give me some reckless speculation here, Sounder. Just give me that.
Oh, well, that means you're totally safe.
Okay, yeah, very good. Thank you.
That's what you do.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
All right. There are going to be stories in the next month that are going to feel like this one. In the next month, you're going to hear some things that this economy, I think, around LeBron James would prefer that you not know, because it has been amazing to watch, almost without precedent, how long LeBron has spent in the spotlight without stumbling. The worst you could say about him is he did a television show where he announced his decision, or that he loses sometimes by merely getting to the final.
That television show raised millions for charity.
I know, but I'm saying you can't. I told you before, I was working on some stuff. When LeBron left Miami, I was working on a story, getting close to things that were interesting and uncomfortable, and the way it got shut down. That's why I was talking to Lambeau. The way it got shut down is because the machine shut down in front of me. Like, whatever that is, I don't know what it is, whether it's Nike, whether it's Maverick Carter, whatever it is, all of a sudden, I mean, I've been reporting for a while. I know how to report. I've never had anything shut down around me like that, and I've been kicked by a PR agent in a Chinese hotel while trying to ask Michael Jordan about sweatshops.
You went to China with Michael Jordan?
That's right.
Wow.
Dan Le Batard.
Is it fair to say that Stugotz isn't trying very hard?
Stugotz.
Duh.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you do not know this name, you probably know the work. He has been in Pay It Forward. He has been in Steven Spielberg's AI, Artificial Intelligence. And his greatest fame comes from being a child star who saw dead people in The Sixth Sense. His new movie, Izzy Gets the Bleep Across Town, is in theaters June 22nd. Haley Joel Osment joins us now on ESPN Radio. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us what your life was like as a child actor? You started at 3 or 4 years old, didn't you?
That's right, yeah. I my first film role was in Forrest Gump in 1993, and I had just done a Pizza Hut commercial basically by accident a little bit before that, and things just sort of started rolling from there. So it was cool being a part of those things, but my main thing at the time was just going to school. My mom was a 6th grade teacher, so it was always a set thing that I was going to go to school and finish college and all of that. So,
what were your parents like in that regard? Were they stage parents in any way, or did they just want you to do something you love?
My dad studied theater growing up and ran a theater on Santa Monica Boulevard in LA in the 80s and 90s. But I think the reason I had such a good experience doing those things is that they were not typical stage parents in any way, and basically just said, you know, as soon as it stops being fun, you can quit, any day you like. And, as I said, school was the main focus for both of them. So it was just sort of something that happened practically by accident.
I've said before in marveling at LeBron James, the idea that Drew Barrymore was in cocaine rehab because she came from theater at like 11 or 12 years old. The child stars, the actors in Different Strokes, all of them are Greek tragedies, that it's usually a hard life. Was it for you?
No, I think you hear more about the ones where people struggled and everything, but it really does come down to the parents. Some of the worst stories that you do hear is because people had parents that either weren't there when they were on set or, had pushed them into it for bad reasons or something. But for me, it was always about just the craft and the art of it, and it remains so to this day.
Haley, I'm assuming people just walk by you randomly and they blurt out, "I see dead people." What I'm wondering is the funniest way someone has delivered to you that line, "I see dead people."
Well, how often has that happened? Like, how many times a day does that happen?
Not as much anymore. It certainly happened a lot when the film came out, but my favorite was somewhat recently. I was at a Dodger game, and they had those sort of inter-inning videos with the players doing quizzes and everything, and Yasiel Puig said the line really big on the screen, and that was kind of a shock.
He doesn't know that much English. Like, that's fairly amazing.
Oh, he does.
Well, but your movie's older than he is.
Yeah, that's getting to be the case, too. I mean, with all sports now, I just turned 30 this year, and it's pretty crazy to watch new players come up and go, "Oh, he was born in the year 2000. That's crazy."
Are you tired of people asking you if you're tired of hearing people say to you, "I see dead people"?
No, it's fine. I'm happy because it's a film that I'm proud of, and it is pretty crazy to me that it still sort of has this life to this day. Because when we were shooting the movie, that line in particular was not something that stuck out to us as something that was going to become a tagline and sort of a a catchphrase for the movie, which is sort of crazy to think about in retrospect now.
Do people whisper it to you? Do they get like really dramatic when they deliver that line to you?
Not too much. It's usually shouted.
Yeah, we're not doing that interview. We will stop now. His new movie, Izzy Gets the Bleep Across Town, is in theaters June 22nd. I was going to say that. I'm just waiting for the comedic stylings of my host to finish there, my friend and host. Haley Joel Osment with us on ESPN Radio. Again, the new movie, Izzy Gets the Bleep Across Town, is in theaters June 22nd. Did your life change much with that movie?
Oh, sure. And I mean, I feel sort of fortunate that this is a film that came out in 1999, so there wasn't social media or things like that. And that kind of helped the film, too, because I think that the surprise ending would have been spoiled long before the movie ever came out. But the fact that it was, the only place it was getting spoiled was a couple AOL chat rooms really helped the movie have a longer life in theaters than I think it would have today.
Did your parents tell you it was a horror movie, or did they disguise that?
Well, one of the great things about that experience was that Knight, who was only 28 when he wrote and directed that movie, approached it, obviously as a director with a lot of great horror genre, with a lot of knowledge of the horror genre, but we didn't treat it like that for the relationships with the characters. And one of the things that we discussed when we were rehearsing, and we had this great luxury of having weeks of rehearsal before doing the movie, which really helps doing a film like this, was that we focused more on how it was, the fear of not being able to communicate with people more than it was sort of a supernatural situation.
Haley, what's the best and worst part of being a celebrity?
One tough thing for actors is that in order to do your job well, you kind of need to be able to go out into the world and observe people and to sort of have, just to sort of be able to watch people and everything. And the more that films become recognized and everything, that privacy and that ability to be anonymous kind of goes away, which is kind of a paradox. But I have lived in New York City for most of the last 10 years. And it's kind of a great thing about there is that even though it's really a packed city, you can be anonymous there in some ways still. So that's why I love it so much.
Again, Haley Joel Osment with us. New movie, Izzy Gets the Bleep Across Town, is in theaters June 22nd. We will talk to him about that in a second. But I did not know that was you in Forrest Gump. I was not aware I wasn't aware that was you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly 25 years ago now.
That's crazy. So which way does this work? Can you tell us something about that experience? Being Jen A's child in Forrest Gump, like what was that like?
That was one of the first times I had ever left the state of California. I was 4 years old. I remember learning to tie my shoe on that movie. But it was just it really, even at that young age, made me fall in love with the process because a movie like that is such a giant operation, and they had, the huge Vietnam sets that they were shooting in South Carolina and the Gump House that they had built, and it's just such an epic thing to witness, even as a young kid, that it's still, the most fun place for me in the world is being on a film set.
I mean this with no disrespect, but when you open at 4 and 5 years old with Bruce Willis and Tom Hanks, it's all downhill from there. Right? Like, I mean, when you're doing these vehicles with these giant stars and you're a kid, do you remember on The Sixth Sense? Do you remember anything like that? Learning to tie your shoes because you were so young doing this stuff?
I was 10 years old on that one. And, when you're 4 years old, it's sort of hard to say that you are acting with any great knowledge of what the craft is or anything. But by the time we were doing The Sixth Sense, the process that Knight had and the generosity that Bruce and Toni Collette and everybody had, like that was sort of the first film where I could really feel the full extent of what we had to do. And, just the process of learning a character over many months and developing it during shooting. And that was sort of the first adult feeling project that I think I was a part of.
You wanted to be Anakin Skywalker. Hell happened.
I was one of probably 10,000 kids that held up an X-wing and had a Polaroid taken when they were doing casting calls for that movie. But I don't think that ever got close to being cast.
Any parts you turned down that you regret?
Not really. I went to school when I turned 18 in New York and studied theater and was outside of LA for a long time. But I'm really happy I did that because it was just sort of a time to. You only get to go to college at that age once, and I just wanted to have the experience socially as well as sort of to take the time to see whether this is something I wanted to do as a career for my whole life, which ended up being the case.
We appreciate your time and your tolerance. Give us your best 30 seconds on why people should see Izzy Gets the Bleep Across Town.
This film has Mackenzie Davis as the lead. It takes place in one continuous 24-hour period as she tries to cross Los Angeles without money or a car. And it's just a really fantastic collection of actors. It's got Rob Hubel and Carrie Coon and Aaliyah Shaw-Kat, among many others. And the director, Christian Paperniak, knows a lot of the great punk and Riot Girl musicians from the Northwest from the 90s. So bands like Slater-Kinney gave us a bunch of really great songs for the soundtrack. So it's a really energetic, propulsive film, and I think people will enjoy it.
Thank you for helping us catch up with you. We all enjoyed it.
No problem, man. Great talking to you guys.
Cha-ching! Time for some ads.
Stugotz, put it on the poll. I'm sorry, Guillermo, put it on the poll. Does it make you feel old that he's 30?
I'm a one-trick pony. Literally. I show up at kids' parties and act cute. That's pretty much it. So excuse me for being bitter. When Geico says not only could we save you money on car insurance, but we do more. Like give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or even via our award-winning mobile app. Well, ooh la la. Aren't they multi-talented? Hey, I said organic carrots.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Don Le Batard. Game day bucket, go boom! Stugotz.
I do like that idea, Goldie. Greedy. I like the idea. I have a friend named Goldie. I called you Goldie.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Let's update the polls at Le Batard Show. I feel like we've had a lot of them today, and they've been more random than usual. So what do we have here at Le Batard Show on Twitter?
Is the King Roy thing going to his head? 81% of the audience said yes.
If you don't know, Roy was screeching about how he was wrong because he didn't get quite enough attention for his heroics on the American Ninja Warrior course, surviving 2 things. He didn't feel like we celebrated him enough. All we did was celebrate the funny.
Yep.
Roy wanted to celebrate the achievement. Roy doesn't get the show.
Who's a better athlete? A pole vaulter or a lacrosse player? Sorry, Billy. 54% of the audience said a lacrosse player.
You guys don't understand what goes into it.
Is Hugh Jackson jumping into a lake, revealing his butt, a metaphor for his entire Browns tenure? What's the record?
98?
Oh, this was close. 96% of the audience said yes.
And 4% of you are bleep holes.
Should there be an
4% of you, if his pants had fallen further, you would have found your mirror.
Should there be an NBA Hall of Fame for players under 6 feet tall? That was Billy's suggestion. 71% of the audience said yes. Would you be okay if after...
He put in Earl Boykins, right? Didn't he put in Earl Boykins?
First ballot.
Yeah, first ballot. We didn't really do much with that after that.
No, we didn't. It petered out. But again, if you're just joining us, Earl Boykins says that LeBron is going to Denver.
It's a 35 to 40% chance. How about that? You gotta love this time of year where Earl Boykins becomes relevant.
That's right.
Anyway.
Thank you, LeBron.
Yep. Would you be okay? I love this idea. Would you be okay if after the NFL playoffs are decided, America got to vote in another team? 76% of the audience said yes.
I didn't realize I'd put on my sunglasses by mistake. What happened, Mike? What happened?
An incredible goal for Russia in injury time. They're going to win this game at least 4-0. That's huge for Russia, as they're in a group that they can actually advance out of.
Phil's having a complete meltdown today, first round U.S. Open. He's playing himself out of contention, Mickelson. He's +6 right now. He's got a 15-foot putt for birdie. He needs it badly.
You predicted he'd win, right, or no?
No, I said I thought he'd be in the hunt. I did say on Golic and Wingo this morning that either Dustin Johnson or Jason Day would win. I think Jason Day is +10 today. I'm sorry, he's +9. Nailed it. Are Triple G and Canelo Alvarez always fighting and never fighting? 95% of the audience said yes.
I mean, when is that fight going to happen with both of them in hospice? Like, when's that happening?
They always just talk about fighting.
You tell us. Didn't Canelo's people reach out to you?
Yeah, exactly. What's worse on television, a nipple or a middle finger?
We were watching the World Cup earlier, and Robbie Williams, all sensuality, came out and just gave everyone the middle finger. Actually gave it to him as the end of his performance.
52% of the audience said a nipple.
Wow. He would have gave that, too, if you gave him time.
Does the name Oliver Luck sound like money? 78% of the audience said yes.
What's a name that sounds more like money than Oliver Luck? We've done the game where people in sports who look like they should be on cash. Bob Ryan, I think, won that one. Either him or Dan Shaughnessy. I don't remember.
Sounds more.
Oliver sounds like Kish.
Really does. I can't think of another name off the Charlton.
Charlton Heston.
Which is more ridiculous? LeBron playing for a team he owns or LeBron going to play in college?
Bentley.
Oh, Bentley. 84% of the audience said playing in college.
That was Guillermo and Stugotz postulated that.
Yep.
After I tried to get a serious reported subject off the ground, Stugotz just veered away from it thinking about sandwiches and golf and did his own show.
Wesley.
Higgins. Would the Warriors have won in a sweep if Jordan Bell had spent the entire series drinking Henny?
Winston.
94% of the audience said yes.
Conrad.
Do you want to hear Stugotz's call to Murray again?
Dalton.
68% of the audience said yes.
Fabian.
Was it more difficult for old people? What is more difficult for old people? Getting them to give you their money or getting them to vote online for the All-Star game?
Channing.
83% of the audience said vote online.
Bob.
Guillermo, I don't believe you got any more than 3 votes on the World Wide Web.